I'm like,
yep.
Awesome.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and you would just hang out and dance, and you know, and it was a fun part of growing up. You know, it was just a neat thing to do. They were actually, and there's been talk, and there's still talk that on Classic VH1 that they're going to rerun the show again, and everybody on the official Club MTV page keeps on talking about it, and is it going to be back on? And you know, we keep on looking for it because my tapes, I have my tapes at my girlfriend's house that I used to live with, and she had a fire, and all of my tape shows got burned. I had them all taped, like 2 years worth of tapings, and they all burned in a fire. So I would love to see them re-aired on TV. That would be totally great. It was a lot of fun to do. You know, it's fond memory, I guess, looking back on my early 20s, you know, 25 years later now. So,
all right, gotta ask, did you want to be a fly girl?
No.
No?
No, believe it or not, no. I wanted to be a singer. I was in a bunch of Broadway shows. I had been performing since I was about in second or third grade. I wanted to be a singer, and believe it or not, it's funny because she graduated a year before me, and I went to school with her my entire life, Mariah Carey. I grew up and went to school with Mariah Carey, so it's kind of funny. You know, I wanted to be a singer, and I did sing. I did sing professionally for a while, but then, like I said, I don't know how it kind of evolved in my latter years of life into becoming a lab tech. I was an assistant lab tech at my hospital, and that evolved into the ghost hunting is what I basically do full time now. So, you know, it's weird the way life works out like that.
Right?
So,
yeah.
Take us back to the first investigation that you had. Like, what type of gear? I mean, obviously you said you had the boombox, but I mean, did you guys have any other gear that you went in with, or was it just like a bunch of friends get together, let's go check this place out?
It was a bunch of squeamish girls going into an old abandoned house down on Lakeside Drive in Centerport, New York, and since then it's been torn down and there's a brand new beautiful house on the spot. But no, we were squeamish girls, you know, going in there, and we went back and we kept on going back and recording, and at the time you didn't call them EVPs, you know, they were just recordings. We just, back then, I didn't know that there was any name for them, or, you know, we didn't have the internet, so it wasn't like, this is an EVP recording, this is it, you know, there just wasn't that talk, and it's just something we did. And then in my latter years of personal investigating, after my grandmother passed away, I got the weirdest and coolest EVP at the same time. It was in a bedroom that was about a 10 by 10 bedroom, and I had another. I believe it or not, it might have actually been the same boombox. I think I still had it. I had it at my grandmother's house, and I'd been hearing strange noises in the room. So I said, I'm just going to let this record in the room for a while. And in a 10 by 10 room with a queen size bed in it, which left maybe like 3 feet to the side of the bed, it sounded like someone was walking around the room just dragging something behind them for, I would say, about 2.5 minutes on the tape. And it's like, well, where did they go? You know, there's no room to walk around in there. So that was a very cool and kind of eerie EVP that I got. But I've never had either one of my grandmothers, God rest their souls, who just passed away. I've never had either one of them contact me, you know, from beyond, or leave me an EVP, or say, never have had them contact me. But it was one of my earlier kind of interesting EVPs, you know.
So these squeamish girls that were with you when you went into this abandoned house, are you still friends with them?
I don't know what happened to Sheila. Laura was killed in a car accident. And my girlfriends Lorelai and Kristen, they are living their lives. They are moms and have kids, and none of them are paranormal investigators. No.
Do they know that you became a paranormal investigator and that you carried on this little fun kid thing that
yes.
you all did?
Yep. A lot of my friends from high school do, and yep. A lot of people know. Yep.
They're probably like saying to their friends, I was with her when she had her first CVP.
and it's weird because it didn't call it ghost hunting back then. There was just there was no name. I mean, there was, you guys know, you had a TV. Half the time you had to get up to change the channel unless you had one of those Cablevision boxes that had a wire coming from the TV, and you held the box in your hand and you changed the channel that way. I mean, there was no internet. There was nothing. You could go and learn about spirits or ghosts by going to a library and reading a book. There were not the tools that there are today. There was not the internet. There were not cell phones. There were no DVR systems. There were no, they had personal recorders, but not like they are today. So, it was, back then it was just, you didn't even know what you were doing. We're going to a spooky house and we're making recordings. That's what we called it. There was literally no name for it back then because it was so long ago. So, now that I feel very old.
Yeah, I was thinking myself, like, she's really making me feel
old. I was going to say, back then you actually called your friend on the rotary phone to tell him, listen to this, right?
Yes, and we had a green one in my kitchen in Centerport. Yes, we did. Oh, my God, that's too funny.
So do you think the advances in technology are a plus or a hindrance?
I definitely think it's a plus. My kind of technological opinion on the paranormal is this. There are many. Anything can be altered nowadays. That's the unfortunate thing. So where there are some good things, there are also some where there's some pros or some cons. Things can be photoshopped, but like I said, I don't Photoshop my video or my images. If I believe that still to this day, a voice recorder and either a video camera or DVR system are two of the greatest pieces of equipment. A lot of shadow detectors are too. I think they're wonderful. These other devices, some of them, some of the research into them are very good. And the technology in some of them. Others, not so good. So, like I said, I really still always go back to, I'm not a fan of still photos. I am not an orb person. I'm just not. I could sit here right now and take a picture of the air and there's nothing in the air, and then I can hit an old chair that we don't sit on and create a million orbs in the air. Even if you're taking it with a flash camera, the flash can flash off pieces of dust and make it look illuminated. I am not a fan of still imaging. I like video, unaltered video, and voice recordings. Those are the two most dependable and, as far as I'm concerned, sustainable proofs of evidence that you can give to a client. A business, a historical location. I could do the flashlight trick. That doesn't mean anything. They've proven that believe it or not, the flashlight can actually, batteries, when you loosen the front of a flashlight, the batteries can actually expand just enough to make the light go off. So, like I said, there's things out there that are much more dependable pieces of evidence. People will come to me with orb pictures all the time, and I will never tell someone what their beliefs are to be, but to me, show me an apparition, show me, and again, I like it to be on video. I don't like it to see anything in a still image. because you just can't judge. You don't have the whole picture. You have a millisecond, so you really cannot make a precise judgment on that. So, like I said, I mean, I know it sounds so basic, but I still believe that audio and video are still the best ways to go in obtaining proof.
My favorite piece of equipment is my recorder. I get the best stuff, I think, out of my recorder.
Which is, Naomi?
A recorder. My recorder.
Yeah.
That's my favorite piece of equipment.
I do have to agree with you 100% on the pictures, though, and I am not an orb person either. We've had many discussions between Naomi and myself, and the team and myself, and it's just I don't know, they're too controversial, and if to me it's like if an orb can appear in a picture, I want it to be a manifestation. Let's have why am I not getting somebody actually standing there? Why am I just getting an orb?
It's absolutely, and it's if I could sit down and show people who are so stuck on orbs, look at this apparition. We got this black mass we got going across the floor at a private club. I have that piece of evidence. Tiana's home. The video clip that's on our website, somehow it cut off about 20 seconds of the video clip. I don't know how it did that, but our green bean being blackened out like an arm was reaching over the couch and a head was popping up. There are just, and that's video also, there's just so many other things. And like I said, I like the fact that I'm a lab tech, that I do study science, because I can look back and I can make a better judgment on things. And I know from going out, from being around pollen, there's pollen in the air, or if you go out on a misty day, and anybody that comes to Gettysburg knows there's a lot of mist here during the summer because of the hot and the cold with fields, and the mist lays low. You go down the Sachs Bridge, you get a ton of orb pics from the mist and the dam on Marsh Creek over there, sending the mist into the air and the droplets. And there are so many other better pieces of evidence that come to me, even with an apparition on film. I would rather see that. Like I said, I would never say to someone, oh, that's not your Aunt Mary and that orb. But, if that's what you choose to believe and it makes them happier believing that, then I'm very, very happy for them. But for me to go to a client, I would never take that as a piece of evidence to my client, ever, never.
Now, not to change the subject, but I'm actually curious about this. If you had an hour to spend with someone who has passed on and to talk to them, just you and that person, who would that person be?
My grandmother, Mary McDermott. I didn't even have to think about that one. I miss her every day. She was like my second mom. She was my godmother. Our birthdays were a day apart. I had her for 30 wonderful years of my life, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about her and miss the hell out of her. She was a tough old Irish bird right off the boat from Limerick, Ireland. So I miss her every day.
Oh, that's sweet. That's always, to me, that's a hard question because, there are so many people I would love to spend that hour with that have passed on. But the same token, I would not want that hour to end.
Yeah.
It would be so hard.
Yeah, it would have to be my grandmother or, God. It would have to be one of those two people. Because at least I could ask God, how's my grandmother doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
Exactly.
And we won't lie to you.
Absolutely.
Now, we play a little kind of game on this show called 20 Questions.
We do?
Okay.
Oh, stop it. We do. And it's like just basic random questions that gets our listeners, let our listeners get to know you a little better, other than, the paranormal side of you. And with a little paranormal, sometimes we add a little paranormal. If you're game to do it.
I'm game.
Yeah.
Let's go. I am game. Yep.
All right. Let's see. If you had a choice of being a superhero, which